Okay, I think we're live on Facebook and on Instagram. What we're going to be going over today, thanks for joining in first off, I really appreciate it. What we're going to be going over today for a couple minutes is the number 2 reason why you'd want to create your own book. People always ask me, well, I haven't made $1,000,000 yet, so I really can't write a book just yet. And that's complete nonsense. And the reason why is because a book establishes credibility, which gets you clients. And the number 2 reason, the most important reason, I think, because I'm a big fan of sales and understanding psychology, the reason why you want to write a book is because people do business with people who remind them of themselves. What's up going on, guys? Wozniak. I'm not sure if you're related to the Wozniak in Pittsburgh, but thanks for tuning in on Instagram and on Facebook. People do business with people who remind them of themselves. And I'll give you an example of why this has really affected me. The reason why I wrote my book was because I want to tell my story. Thanks, Marsha. I think you just tagged me in there. I'm not sure. I want to tell my story for people to get to know me a little bit. The people who have a background similar to mine, or maybe they have the same ideology as me, can understand, where I'm coming from. And if they know where I'm coming from, they'd want to do business with me because we think the same. And whether you're in insurance, whether you're in real estate, whether you're in, just a startup business, the more people get to know you, the more they're going to trust you. Give you an example. Last year, I was having trouble with my service provider, internet service provider, which was DirecTV, and I wanted to get out of it. I knew I was going to go to Comcast. I just didn't know when. And one day, this guy was walking around the streets knocking on doors. Whenever he came to my door, obviously, I'm just going to put up the front. I don't even want to deal with this guy. I was a door-to-door. What's going on, Vilma? I was a door-to-door knocker years ago, and I know the struggles of it, but I also know there's a lot of scumbags in that business. What's going on? And so whenever he came to my door, I wanted to shut him down and get him out of my face as fast as possible. And whenever he started talking, he started telling me a little bit about who he was and what was going on in his day, and I started asking him questions about, how he gets deals and how he closes sales and all that. And what I found was he had a really hard life, and he was about 55, 60 years old, and I found out who he was a little bit. I learned his background, and he told me a couple of things. Hey, Vilma. Thanks for tuning in. What we're going over today is the number 2 reason why you want to write a book. And whenever he started telling me a little bit about his life and where he grew up, I started to have this, sort of a connection with him. I knew where he was coming from. I knew a little bit about what he was saying, the struggles that he went through. And he was 55 years old, which means, he's knocking on doors. And you said he made a pretty good living doing it. But I got to know him a little bit. I got to trust him. And after talking to him about 20 minutes, which my first reaction was to just shut this guy down, after talking to him about 20 minutes, I accepted to go and do the service change from DirecTV to Comcast. And the whole thing was he invested time in me. He told me a little bit about what he did. He kind of dropped down his barriers and started showcasing his story. And whether he knew it or not, I was kind of, getting to know him to see if I even trusted him. And the only way I get to know and trust somebody is by hearing their entire story. Fortunately, I created a company because I saw the weakness in this industry where people have all these stories and life experiences, but they can't turn that into a book. And with our ghostwriters, which we do, we sit down with people through a Zoom call, and we interview them, hear their story, and then turn their story into a book, all within 30 to 60 days, sometimes even sooner than that. What's going on, Jim, Art, Javona? Thanks for joining in. Anyway, when this guy was telling me his story, I got to know him, I got to trust him, and I said, you know what, I want to do business with this type of person. I don't want to just call up one day and deal with some flunky on the phone, which I hate calling Comcast and dealing with people on the phone. Usually it's somebody from a different country, and I wanted to deal with somebody who I was able to see face to face and understand who I was doing business with. What was cool about him was that he went out of his way to actually come back another day to give me more information about what Comcast offered. And basically, he stepped outside of what he was supposed to do and went over the top of customer service and really treated me above average, if you will. So number one, the reason why I listened to him was because I got to know him a little bit, I got to trust him. And number two, he went out of his way to do a little bit more than what was required. But it goes back to, I completed that sale because I got to know him. And that is why you should write a book. Anybody who's in, like I said, real estate, insurance, any type of entrepreneurial company where you're trying to get your name out there, you're trying to get people to buy into what you're offering, the more you tell your story, people out there will say, you know what, either that person is very much like me and I know where they're coming from, or I don't know what that person has been through. I'm not familiar with that type of life. I don't want to do business with that person. The more authentic and transparent, that's where we're going with this. Facebook Live, Instagram Live, both you guys are. What's going on, Patrick? We're going into this world of transparency and authenticity. The more transparent you are, the more your market is going to find you. Over 700,000 books are published every year of people telling fictional stories and non-fictional stories. Now, I don't know the exact statistic on non-fiction books, but there's a lot of people out there putting their stories out for other people to read. And the more transparent, more authentic you are in your story, the more you're going to capture an audience. And when you capture an audience and they get to know your background and they get to know you, like you, and trust you, they're going to want to do business with you. That's why I tell people to be as honest as possible, give as much value in a book, but you need to tell your story in a powerful way. And that's what we do at DreamStars. We help you tell your story. There's a lot of people out there who are struggling, thinking their story isn't as interesting as they want it to be. And that's just not the case. One man I was talking to, we're potentially doing a book, was telling me about his parents getting a divorce on Thanksgiving and what it did to him and what it changed how it changed his life. And how that made him want to take control of his own life and have that never happen to his family. You know, stuff like that resonates with the people. And the more you tell those little details, the more people will say, I like this person. I want to listen to what this person says more and more through their Facebook or through their Instagram. I want to read that person's book. And I want to do business with that type of person. Remember this, guys. People do business with people who remind them of themselves. Now, I'm 5'7". If I see somebody who is, you know, a go-getting, hungry, workaholic, short dude, I know what that person's been through. And there's a common ground. There's familiarity there. And I think people really like to buy into familiarity. Give you another little example. I bought my first house in 2008. I was 23 years old. One of the reasons why I bought the house, I didn't know what I was doing. I was my own real estate agent. I didn't ask anybody else for advice on the house or anything like that. I didn't have much money. I was doing an FHA loan. And the reason why I bought the place was because I was familiar with his son. I knew his son, and I liked his son. And there was that extra level of, you know what, I feel good about this deal because I'm familiar with his family. People want to do business in a comfortable manner. They want to be familiar with something. A lot of people come to me and ask for their books to be written, and they want to know how I got into the business. That makes sense. You want to know how you fell into this industry. If your story doesn't add up, then you know something. The connections in your brain don't meet, and you say to yourself, you know what? I either trust this person or I don't trust this person. Your book will help you gain trust from your audience. It'll help you stand above the noise. The more authentic, more transparent, the more people will see through all that other noise and see you as being real. What's going on, guys? Patrick, hey, Patrick. Anybody have any questions? I'm here. I'm only going to be on for a few more minutes. Anybody who's looking to write their first book, maybe they're having trouble finishing, maybe they're having trouble getting started. You guys having any problems out there? Just write it in either on Facebook. What's going on, Ken? Either on Facebook or on Instagram. Most of my leads come through Instagram. I meet a lot of people through there. I have almost 5,000 followers, and I get to connect with a lot of them through messages every day. And if I were you, this is a little, I'm going to save this for next week, but if I were you, if you're going to write your own book, people think that you're going to make a lot of money from it. Your book is really just a lead magnet, and it's there to get people to. How many pages is a typical good book by Nazate Realty Holdings? Very good question, man. Or female, I'm not sure. Good question. Statistics show if it's over 100 pages, most people will not read the entire thing. My number that I always shoot for is 18,000 words, which comes out to be about 120 pages. Looks exactly like this. People do not know you yet. This is on Facebook. The question is asked is, how many pages is a typical good book? Right there. People do not know you yet. You need to take them down a path and get them to know you as fast as possible. For example, Gary Vaynerchuk, Grant Cardone, all these top dogs who've made it, Patrick Bet-David. I'm able to watch a 30-minute presentation of theirs because I've watched so much of their stuff that now I trust them. I've looked into their backgrounds. There's confidence in them. And if somebody just meets you and they don't know who you are yet, there's not much confidence in you. So you need to make it short. Number of pages I recommend is about 120 pages. You could go more, which you can add a photo gallery, which I recommend. The thing is the more pages makes it difficult for people to read the whole thing. You can always have more books. I recommend you write your first book 120 pages, your next book maybe a little bit more, and your next book a little bit more. Once again, it's just taking them down the path where you want to say levels. The more trust that's built up, the more time and commitment that people are going to give to you. There's a couple other books here. They're all about this size right here. And this is Margot Sandy's, which we helped bring to life. Hers is 125. Mine's 120. Here's another one. Some are a little bit more. You could go a little bit more if you want. 146 for the Millionaire's Guide that we helped bring to life. Table of Dreams. See how many pages this one was. 145. And then the other book we just finished was 138. Once again, there's a photo gallery. Give you a couple statistics out there. Male. Okay, very good. Sorry. Statistics out there are less than 10% of people are going to read the entire book. Okay, so remember that. The more pages, less people are going to read the entire thing. You want people to pick up the first couple chapters, get to know you, and say, you know what, I like this person. Now I'm going to give this person my attention. Now let me look at their Facebook, Instagram, their website, maybe meet with them on a Zoom call. 120 is the sweet spot. I recommend that. Great question, though, by the way. Once again, I'm going to give you a couple little things here. I kind of went off in a different direction. There is less than 1% chance of getting your book in all the bookstores nationwide, like an actual copy of your book in the stores. And I want to always set the right expectations when we help somebody write their book. Don't ever think of it as an income stream directly. You want to think of it as an indirect income stream. You could give your book away to 100 people for free, and if one of those people out there turn into a customer, maybe that'll lead to a $1,000 sale, or a $5,000 sale, or a $10,000 sale. You need to give your book away to as many people as possible, because it's like a funnel. Keep bringing them down, and then if you have a service or some type of value you can add to their life, then that's where you make your money. That's where you should spend your time and commitment. But the book, once it's written, you give it away to as many people as possible. Increase your followers, increase your fan base, increase your email chains, then you offer a service down the road if they get to know you, like you, and trust you. Another statistic out there, book sales are dropping every year. They're going down quite a bit every year. Ebook sales and paperback. Just knowing that statistic, people are now going and getting it for free. So yes, you could still make money online. You could still, we have a way of getting on Barnes & Nobles online. We have a way of putting it on Amazon. We turn people into bestsellers on Amazon. Yes, you can make a little bit of money. You can make When you do a launch, you might make $5,000. But eventually, because of the SEO, the algorithm at Amazon, it might drop off and people won't know about it. Until you get a major publisher noticing you, then there's advertising dollars that they're tied to, hundreds of thousands of dollars that they can push it out there for other people to see. That's a different story. Nobody knows who you are. You want to just get started. Write your book, give it away to as many people as possible, the right target market it. They get to know you, like you, and trust you. You take them by the hand, build a relationship up with them, and then eventually they become a client of yours, and you offer them a service. It's a way to do it. Any other questions? Very good question. I have to leave in a few minutes, but hit me up with any other questions while you're here. Sarah Lynn, what's up, Kenny V? Any other questions, guys? Gain my trust, Mike. Thank you, Patrick. I really appreciate it. Patrick, I don't know if you're writing a book or not, but if you ever wanted to do a Zoom call, if anybody wants to do a Zoom call, I can go over more details of how we do things. I can show you some of our clients, what they went through, some of the success stories. Artie, what's going on, Artie? Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. I love the interaction. If you guys want a free copy of my book, I teach everything I teach, I do myself. DreamStartersUniversity.com. You can go and actually click and get a free copy of my book. It's in the header. It's called ebook. Or you just want to send me your email via direct message, anybody on Facebook or Instagram. I could send you a free copy. And you get to know my story a little bit, know a little bit about what I went through, some of the things that I've learned along the way in starting a business, some of the people I met. What's going on, Evan? Appreciate you joining in. We're working with some big clients here, mostly are insurance-based and real estate. There's some other people who are just starting businesses. Some people have businesses. We just finished a book for Jimmy Bluff. I highly recommend it. You go on and buy. It's called Just Keep Breathing, the spiritual guide to conquering your life and reaching your truest potential. He's Hollywood's top natural healer. This guy knows his stuff and has had a hell of a life, but has helped a lot of incredible people. If you look at his website, you'll be able to see that some of his clients, Guns N' Roses, you got Slash, professional bodybuilders like Jay Cutler. You just have to take jimmybluff.com, and like I said, he's Hollywood's top natural healer. We're waiting on his printed book to arrive, but you can get it online right now at Amazon. It's going to be on Barnes & Nobles too. New Way Coach Kate, thanks for joining in. Tom Shaw. What we just talked about in this video is the #2 reason for writing your own book, and that reason is because people want to do business with people who remind them of themselves. Share your story. Powerful stories affect people more than statistics and facts and figures. Tell your story in a compelling way, get their attention, and then use that attention to help them accomplish something that they want. Any other questions, guys, reach out to me. I do have to run. My email is, yes, Patrick, yeah, anytime you want to talk, just let me know. My email is mfallat@dreamstarterspgh.com. The website, my company is dreamstartersuniversity.com. And you can follow me on Facebook or Instagram and Twitter also. Thanks a lot, guys. My name is Mike Fallat, and anything you ever need, just reach out to me.